Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second edition of our US Pack On Time Courier podcast. I'm so excited to be with you here this month. We got the first one started last month, and we have got even more information, more exciting guests to be on this second one with you. So we're looking forward to it. First thing I want to address, if you probably noticed from last month, if you're watching this, much different background than I have last month. I don't have my Cleveland Browns football, don't have my family pictures. I'm not in my home office this month, so I miss those things, but we'll get them back soon. Obviously, we want to get this put out so you all have it. The other thing is I do want to take a moment and give a special shout out and kudos to really the team behind putting this podcast together and making it happen. The first one is Ken Foltz. Ken is our senior manager of driver experience. He is really the driving force behind this and getting this put together, getting our guests set up every month, and really just making it happen. So he's the driving force. And then there is the glue that holds it together, which is Kate Wiles. Kate is our director, producer, recorder, does everything, and without her, this thing wouldn't happen. So I just want to give a special shout out and thank you to the team behind making this podcast happen. As we talked about, we had an action-packed first one, right? We were able to have our CEO, Mike Clark, with us. We had Liz Billias to give us a safety message. We had a member of our settlement team that was here to give us information on IC settlements. And now with the second one, we're very excited to have our COO, Bill Ryan, with us. Bill's got several years experience in transportation industry. He's going to talk about a reorganization and really give you a lot of good details on that. We'll have Liz Billias here with us again to give you a safety message. And then we're going to wrap up with a special guest from our operations team, our field operations team, and we know you'll enjoy that. To make this thing work, this podcast is here for you, and I can't stress it enough that we need to hear from you. We want your feedback, we want your insight, we want your questions. What would you like to see in these podcasts? What questions do you have from different members of the organization? We want to make sure this podcast is here to benefit you, to help you to be successful here at US Pack, whether you're an independent contractor, a master contractor, a vendor. We want you to be successful and to be here for a very long time. So having said that, please send us submissions and let us know what you'd like to see or hear in these podcasts. Having said that, man, we're ready to get this thing started. So we're going to start with our first guest, our Chief Operating Officer, Bill Ryan, and let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. Great. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Bill, about yourself, the position you're in, what you'd like the contractors to know about you.
Sure. Well, here at US Pack, I've been with the company just over 2 years. So the 17th of January was 2 years as the Chief Operating Officer. Prior to that, I have just about 49 years experience in the industry. I started out my career as a New York City bike messenger, and I was a driver, I was a dispatcher, an ops manager, etc. So I guess you could say I learned the business from the ground up. And yeah, happy to be
Awesome.
here today.
Bike messenger. I was unaware of that one. I'll have to pick your brain a little bit more about that at some point.
That's right. It was a noble profession in those days. Yes.
I bet it was. Bill, I think all of our contractors know we're going through a pretty comprehensive operational reorganization. And I was hoping you could take a couple moments to talk about what that means to our contractors, the changes, that type of stuff, to help them understand it a little bit more.
Sure. So we have taken the strategy to separate our business lines into the healthcare and the non-healthcare, what we're calling critical mile verticals. And it allows our teams, and that includes our drivers and our vendors, to focus on areas of expertise and become SMEs, subject matter experts, in their subsequent verticals rather than trying to be all things to all people and all customers. As an example, the folks on our healthcare side of the business um, can focus on transporting pharmaceuticals, lab specimens, nuclear medicine, you name it, that is focused within the healthcare verticals, allowing them to become experts in those fields, transportation for those various verticals. They can get the certifications that they require to perform those services, and they can grow their business, right? Their own businesses as an independent contractor or as a vendor providing services to US Pack within that vertical. And conversely, the folks providing critical mile support, whether it's auto parts, whether it's cargo, freight, retail goods, they can concentrate on learning what they need to know and having the right equipment to move the freight profile that they're moving. So a sedan as opposed to a box truck, as opposed to a straight truck with a lift gate or a tractor trailer, very different. So I believe it adds a lot of value for our independent contractors to be able to focus on the area of the business that suits them the best, that they're the most interested in, and they feel like they prefer to be a part of and can be successful at.
Awesome. That is great stuff, Bill. Thank you so much for going through that. You had mentioned the growth opportunities for our contractors. There is also, and we touched on this a little bit in our first one, is the opportunity to become a master contractor. So if any of our contractors, if you have any questions on that or are interested in that, please reach out to either your field operations team or to someone in the contractor sourcing team, and we'll be able to help you out with that. But sounds like a very exciting change moving forward, setting us and our contractors up for success, Bill. So thank you so much for going through that. Uh, Obviously, one of the big pieces that's important to our contractors is interaction and communication with the company, right? So, and I can't think of anyone that's more important than that communication they have with their local field operations team. Would you mind taking a few moments talking about your thoughts on that and how you see that?
Absolutely. So obviously, when a new contractor or a new vendor comes on board, initially they'll be speaking with folks from your team, Kevin, from the recruiting team, from the driver experience team, getting them acclimated to US Pack, getting them what they need as far as technology and whatever information they require to get started. But from the day they actually go into service with US Pack, I believe it's of critical importance that there is an open, proactive, collaborative, bilateral communication between the independent contractor or vendor and the local US Pack management. So whether that's an on-site coordinator at an institutional pharmacy or an ops manager or a terminal manager within the US Pack terminal or an operations manager that's responsible for a larger region of activity within US Pack, whoever that primary point of contact is for that particular independent contractor, it's extremely important that we encourage and foster um, open communication between those folks. So don't wait until a question is burning to ask the question. If a driver has a question, they should be reaching out to their primary point of contact, that on-site coordinator, asking the question, getting the answer, and vice versa. If the folks in the field have questions for the contractor or they have pertinent information that they need to communicate, they should be reaching out in real time and proactive, and there shouldn't be any hesitation to do so. So that's critical importance.
Thank you again, Bill, for going through that, and couldn't agree with you more. Communication is always key, right? The more you communicate, the more everybody's on the same page, and everything just goes a heck of a lot smoother. So, could not agree with you more on that one. Uh, to kind of wrap it up, Bill, obviously you've got a great deal of experience in this industry. You're leading us through a big reorganization. What kind of thoughts or what would kind of feedback would you give to our contractors at the moment that may help them to be successful?
All right. Well, first off, myself and the team at US Pack are very excited for our new organizational footprint moving forward. And we're excited to have the contractors and the vendors on board with us in part because it's a partnership between US Pack, the customers, and our drivers. And a partnership has to work for everybody, has to be lucrative for everybody, mutually satisfying for everybody, with opportunity for growth and improvement. And, let's face it, our drivers are the face of US Pack out there in public. They're the face of not only US Pack, but the US Pack customer. So the drivers are where the rubber meets the road. And, we recognize that and we appreciate that and everything you do. And we encourage you to engage with us as much as possible. Kevin, you mentioned earlier the opportunities to become a master contractor. That's a tremendous opportunity, not only for you, but for us as well. As we build a scalable model, your revenue is scalable during peak seasons, and you can scale back when things quiet down a bit. So once again, consider that. But again, thank you for everything you do. And don't hesitate to reach out, as we mentioned earlier, to your local US Pack contact. Very important that we ensure that our contractors know who that contact is. And thanks for all you do.
Awesome, Bill. Extremely well said. And, again, thank you so much for taking some of your valuable time. I know you're extremely busy to spend with us today, myself and our contractors. I think we learned quite a bit today about the reorganization and what it takes and what a contractor can do to be successful here at US Pack. So thank you so much. Again, greatly appreciate your time. And we're going to head over to Liz to give us our monthly safety update. So Bill, thank you again.
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks to all you drivers and vendors out there. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Welcome to a brand new year. As we kick off January, it is the perfect time to refocus on safety and set the tone for a successful and secure year on the road. Safety should always be a top priority, and every decision that you make behind the wheel plays a critical role in protecting yourself, others on the road, and the packages that you deliver. Some key reminders to start the year strong is that January often brings challenging weather conditions like snow, ice, and fog. It's always good practice to check forecasts before heading out to ensure your vehicle is equipped with good tires, de-icing tools, and any necessary emergency supplies. You should always adjust your speed to road conditions and maintain extra distance between you and the vehicle ahead. Wet or icy roads require longer stopping times. Cold weather and busy schedules can absolutely take a toll on you. Remember to stay hydrated, take breaks as you need them, and be mindful of fatigue. That is just as dangerous as distracted driving. Start each day with a quick vehicle inspection. Lights, brakes, tires, and windshield wipers are especially important at this time of year. And when necessary, remember to stay connected with Central Dispatch and the US Pack team member local to your service area regarding any customer changes that may be related to weather. Your commitment to safety makes all the difference. By staying alert, prepared, and proactive, we can make 2025 a year of success and safety for everyone. Thank you for being an essential part of the US Pack supply chain team, and here's to a great start of the year. Drive safe, stay warm, and keep up the amazing work. Now, I know that you are all looking forward to our next guest as much as I am. Kevin, who do you have for us?
Thank you, Liz, for that safety message. I got to tell you, it's always great we get Liz Billias on with us each month to give us a safety message to the fleet. Nothing is more important than safety when you're out there running shipments every day. So thank you for that. Now we are very fortunate to have someone I've worked very closely with in my short time here. We're very fortunate to have Phil Tucker. Phil's one of our area managers in our new healthcare division. Phil, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing tremendous. Thank you. Again, thank you so much for being here. We're really lucky and fortunate to have you here with your experience, your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I've been in the final mile aspect of whether it be healthcare or life sciences to some degree for about 15 years now. So not at all new to uh, this type of work. Started out with US Pack, at least in the implementations area, where particularly in the life sciences area, began to start our markets and began to initially face with our customers to see what their needs were and develop market to market how we would launch those particular items. Based here in the Midwest, I currently serve as an area manager, life sciences and healthcare, spanning from really West Virginia area, currently all the way out to the Denver, Colorado area.
Okay, nice little territory there, small territory. So,
Yeah.
all right, great. Thank you for that, Phil. And I know we're fortunate to have you and you were on the initial team to get our life science team up and started. So,
That's
kudos to
correct.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
through the right from the LMS side of it to the driver orientation. So yeah, from
that,
I got to dig the hole, so to speak.
that is awesome. So we are really lucky to have you here and be able to pick your brain a little bit and have you share some of your knowledge with us. So, as we're going through this company reorganization, obviously we now have two divisions. We have our critical mile and our healthcare division. The life science is a piece of that, and it's getting up and running. We're continuing to bring on more and more customers. From our contractors' perspective, as they are, getting involved in healthcare and perhaps life science, what are some things they can do to make themselves available for as many opportunities as possible, to make sure that they're as successful as they want to be?
Well, with life science in particular, it is a heavily on demand sectored business. And so it would behoove any driver to basically look at the other verticals as well and become involved in those verticals as the life science and as the healthcare grows. Obviously, if the wheels aren't turning, the driver's not earning. So
Yeah,
we have to look at all of our other opportunities that are more legacy type accounts at this point as we continue to grow within the life science and obviously continue to grow and build new customers within the healthcare space.
that's awesome. Thank you for that, Phil. And I know, our terminology we use internally would be cross contract, right? There's a lot of different opportunities. And, the first place to start, obviously, for a contractor, if they have questions with that, is their local field operations representative.
Right.
And then also they can reach out to my sourcing team if they have questions on that. But yeah, that's a really great point. There's a lot of different opportunities for contractors,
Mhm.
and those that want to take advantage of it, certainly we're happy to fill them in on that. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Um, in that healthcare life science vertical, it's a little bit more involved with an onboarding, right? There's a lot more credentials and that kind of stuff that's required of contractors due to the type of stuff we're hauling. Would you mind giving us a little bit of insight into that onboarding process, and also just what it can mean to a contractor to have all those different credentials behind them when they're looking for opportunities?
Well, I think the first thing to stress is that when we start talking about healthcare and in particular life science, but healthcare in general, uh, it is what it is. There's a life of what we're shipping attached to that shipment. And so as a result, misses are not optional. This is not a set of brake pads that we're moving. We may be moving
Sure.
a sample or some medicines that, frankly, could change a person's healthcare outlook. And so we have to be cognizant of that. And as a result, we have an extensive LMS process. In addition to that, many of these, particularly in the life science area, shipments will traverse in across the globe via airlines. So there's a TSA requirement to handle many of these shipments. And so we are talking about a pretty extensive learning scenario for anybody in the healthcare area. And again, it's twofold. Number one is certainly positively impacting patient outcomes, right? And then the other aspect of it is certainly things have to be tracked in a certain way. They have to remain at a certain temperature.
Mhm.
And in order to accomplish that, the drivers have to understand and be oriented as to what to look for and how to proceed in each particular type of situation with each particular type of shipment.
Great. Yeah, that's thank you for going through that. It was a great explanation and educational for me as well. I know that as we talk about that onboarding process, you mentioned LMS. That's a terminology I believe we use for
Yes.
our orientation videos, right? So
Mhm.
that we have a series of customers who each have their own specific requirements when it comes to orientation materials.
Correct.
So that's something that is key for a contractor. And then I know that TSA certification
Mhm.
process. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It can be.
It takes a little bit of time to get through.
It can be. It is what it is. It's a federal government situation where there's background involved, and they do not allow mistakes on their applications. And so, as a result, it needs to be fairly thorough, right?
Mhm.
Actually, completely thorough to get you through. I've seen them go through as quickly as 4 or 5 days, and with per se a candidate or an independent contractor who was born overseas or abroad could take up to 30 days just because of the nature of the background checks that are required to put something on a plane.
Cool. So the key to that sounds like when you get that, if you're going through the TSA, make sure you're very thorough. Take your time when you're completing that,
Mm-hmm.
complete it thoroughly, and then be patient in the process. So
That's correct.
um, uh, also, those different credentials we're talking about, all those really open up a lot of opportunities to our contractors, don't they, Phil?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, we're in a situation, particularly with the healthcare and moreover with the life science. Literally, an independent contractor cannot touch an order if they have not been qualified to do so. So we, in our internals, certainly bring them to number is a phrase we like to use.
Right.
But being brought to number does not qualify them to carry or handle everything that we have. We have to have those boxes checked, for lack of a better way to put it, with regard to the orientation materials, as they could be audited as well by, we're in the process of
Yeah.
our ISO certifications. And so as a result, all of those T's have to be crossed and those I's have to be dotted.
Great. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that. And we're such a unique company in the fact that we have so many different opportunities available to contractors. The more opportunities, obviously, you're available to haul, the more
Mhm.
opportunities you have for increasing your revenue. So
That's right.
it's all great stuff for the contractors and our contractors. If you have questions on any of those, again, reach out to your local field operations specialist. You can reach out again to the sourcing team. The driver experience team is a great resource for that. If you have any questions on how to obtain any of those or what we can do to facilitate that for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to do that. So Phil, I'll tell you what, man, I knew this would be a great conversation and it didn't disappoint. So I got to thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time, sharing your wisdom with us. Perhaps we can get you on here in another edition in the future. But man, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, I appreciate it, and good luck to all of the onboarding ICs, and may you be successful in your endeavors.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And that wraps up edition number 2 of our On Time US Pack Courier podcast. And it's been an exciting one. We had a lot of great guests the first 2 episodes. We're already working on the third one. We're looking forward to bringing that to you. So, again, we'll bid you adieu for now and look forward to seeing you again very shortly.